What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Career Mode. This is episode number 59, and we start today's episode off with the start of the new season, of course, and we've been given £20.5 million and 100 grand on a wage budget to start the season off with. Of course, in the last season, the highlights were we got to the Europa League quarter-finals, we won the Capital One Cup for the second time in a row, and we also qualified for the Champions League. We finished in fourth place, which means we will have a qualifier, but we are into the Champions League now, and if we win that qualifier, we'll go into the group stages. So those are the highlights of last season, and we've got £20.5 million to spend in the pre-season, so we're going to look to bring in some new players. The youth players we've got at the moment are players that we've been offering contracts to. Stefano Di Nunzio, the scout future star, he's been offered a contract, and Louis Duffy, our goalkeeper. I think I might have offered one to another player as well, I'm not sure, but they all look relatively poor. But anyway, Basong has gone to Arsenal. Basong's gone to Arsenal, and Ryan Bennett's left the club. That's all you need to know to start off with for departures. And for players being brought in, we've brought in McCarthy, Perotti, Wijnaldum and Ikrem on free transfers. So if you missed any of the deals, that's what's been happening. And yeah, basically here are the objectives. Norwich think we can reach the quarterfinals of the Champions League, and we're going to need that luck they just sent us. So I don't think that's going to happen, but we'll have to wait and see. And they also want us to reach the round of 16 stage of the FA Cup, which I think is doable. But the Champions League seems a bit far-fetched. But anyway, here are the players we brought in, as I just said, on free agents. Their contracts are expiring, so we've picked them up on a free agent. McCarthy, the goalkeeper, might make him first choice, but I think I'd rather have Butler because I really like him. Magnus Wolf Ikrem, the former United midfielder, he's 81 rated. He looks very, very good. And Wijnaldum is also 81 rated. He looks very good indeed. So I think we're also going to change the formation as well. We've been playing a 4-4-2. I think I'm going to switch to a 4-2-3-1 and play with two holding midfielders and one playmaker in Wijnaldum. That's how Perotti looks. I've got to say, I'm really disappointed with Perotti. You know, he's going to cost us 60 grand on a wage budget, and as things stood, he's going to be our fourth choice winger. So very disappointed there. Didn't think that transfer through, unfortunately, and he's just going to be a bit of a white elephant, really. But anyway, we do offer Cardiff a bid for Stephen Corker here. Of course, we need to strengthen the defence. You know, we've lost Basong. He's gone to Arsenal on a free transfer. So far, we've only got one good first choice centre half, and that is Chris Smalling. Then we've got Sean Morrison, and then we've got no other centre backs. So yeah, we really do need to get some new centre backs in, because otherwise we're just going to be completely screwed in that position. But we offer a transfer for Corker, and also one for Dragovic, a player that you guys commented a long time ago. I've been reading your comments. Once again, thank you very much. The player suggestions have been great. If you have any more player suggestions for me, go ahead and leave them in the comments. That would be much appreciated. But yeah, it seems like a couple of you said Corker would be a good centre half. Dragovic, I think Marquinhos was one that was talked about quite a lot. So I thought I'd go for those two, as they seem to be they might be quite cheap. And there you go. But Marky Mackay says they don't want to let go of Corker because he's too valuable. They're back in the Premiership now. Cardiff. The teams that came up were Cardiff, Leicester, and what was the other team? I'm sure you'll find out eventually, but it was Cardiff, Leicester, and someone. But yeah, I think it might have been. I'm not going to try and guess, actually, I don't know. But anyway, we offer 6 million plus Teti for Corker, because we've got a lot of centre midfielders, but not enough centre backs. So if we can, you know, offer them a centre midfielder we're not going to use this season, then that'll save us some money, and that'll be great. But yeah, Di Nunzio, the scout future star, comes in, 65 rated. He looks really, 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 really poor, sadly. You know, to be expected. A 5-star weak foot and 4-star skills looks quite nice, and he's only 16 years old, but even so, he looks quite poor. We'll try and send him out on loan. We'll try and send them out on loan. We've got a few players that I want to send out on loan, but it is quite difficult to loan out players on FIFA, so we'll be doing our best to send them out on loan. But yeah, they may be staying with us, to be honest. But Spurs come back for us here, and we asked them for £7 million for Gary Hooper, and I think we asked for 6.5 for Werder Bremen. But Spurs said they'd do £6 million. Werder Bremen said they're only going to go to 4.2 million. But Hooper, he's 75 rated, he's 27 years old. He finished the season off quite strongly, but other than that, he's been a really, really poor striker. And you know, when I started this career mode, everyone was loving Gary Hooper, but then then everyone says no, you should sell Hooper. It's crazy. When we started the series off, everyone was like, oh no, play Hooper more, play Hooper. Everyone loves Gary Hooper. So I was like, okay, fine, I'll play Hooper. he turns out he's really bad, and then everyone's like, "Oh, sell Gary Hooper now." It's like, what am I supposed to do? So we go ahead and accept the £6 million from Spurs because I don't like Hooper. I never really got on with him. It seems like you guys started off loving him and then you just turned to completely hating him. But I said, you know, to Spurs, 7 million. They gave us 6 million. And I think 6 million's fine for Hooper. I never got on with him, to be honest. He's a striker that's in hot demand. He's got so many clubs bidding for him for some reason or another. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of Gary Hooper, to be honest. So I'm perfectly happy to see him go, get 6 million for him, and then try and sign a better striker. Because, as I said, I really want to sign a fantastic striker this year. Someone that's going to get, you know, 20 goals a season to make sure we stay as a Champions League club for the foreseeable future. But we offer Spurs £6 million for Kuric here, the Romanian centre-half. They wanted 13 million, but I was like, no way am I paying that much. But we'll wait and see. We got another transfer offer for Hooper here. It's 3.7 million from Schalke. Crazy, man. This guy is in such demand right now, but if they can match the £6 million, I'll accept it. Otherwise, you know, he's going to Spurs basically. So unless another club matches the £6 million, he'll be a Spurs player before the season starts. But we go on counter just to see what happens there. If the clubs do want to pay that much money. And Malky Mackay said that they weren't prepared to let Corker go for the bids we were putting in plus Tetty, but they said if you increase it to 8.4 million, we will accept it. So I was like, you know, I'll offer 7.5 million, I think it was, because, you know, Corker's an awesome centre-back. I really rate Corker, you know, I think he's a great centre-back, and I think in real life he could be a very solid option for England for the foreseeable future. So I really like Corker. We offer 7.5 plus Teddy, because I'm never going to use Teddy again. We've got so many centre midfielders, you know, we may as well be playing, you know, we may as well be playing a 1-8-1 formation. It's ridiculous. But would that make sense? Yeah, a 1-8-1 formation. But anyway, enough of those bad jokes. Spurs accept the £6 million bid for Kuric, and what a deal this could be here. He's valued at £13 million. He's only 25, you know, he's not like an old centre-back. He's valued at 13 million, and Spurs accept a £6 million bid. What a deal that could be. Hooper goes to Spurs for £6 million. We get 5 million of that, so, I mean, you know, what a great deal that could be for Kuric. We can get him in. And we also try and offer Anzi some money for Traore, because as I said, he's my favourite card on Ultimate Team. I absolutely love Traore. I've really, ever since I found out about him a few years ago, I've absolutely loved the guy. I love Traore. He'd be a great first choice striker for us, so that'd be a great deal. But Andy said they wanted 24 million, and I was like, well, I don't think I can afford that. But even so, we look at the 24 million. We offer, I think it was 13 million to begin with, just to see what they'd say, plus a player. Was it 14 million plus Jake Fordingham? Or Tetty or something, I don't know. We offered them something anyway, just a bit of a joke bid, but just to see if they could negotiate with us a little bit. But we're probably not going to get Traore because he's out of our price range. But Cardiff accepted bid of 7.5 million plus Tetty, but we decided to stall it because we've already signed the first choice centre back. Kuric comes in for £6 million, and what a deal that is going to be, man. Seriously, that, I mean, we just sold Hooper for £6 million to Spurs. Now we're getting a player off Spurs, which is Kuric, and that's a great deal. That is an absolute bargain. 81 rated, he's going to be one of the highest rated players in the team, and I mean, that's just a bargain. That is just an absolute bargain. Look at these stats, man. I mean, I cannot believe I got him this cheap. He looks like an absolute machine, and I'm absolutely delighted that we managed to pull off, you know, what could be the steal of the season. That looks like an absolutely incredible deal. But Anzi said that the deal for Traore was a joke, so, you know, basically stop calling us or we're going to block your number. But we increase it a little bit. I mean, we're not going to get him. He's way too expensive. It's just a dream, because I love Traore so much. It'll be a dream to get him in, but it doesn't look likely at all. But we go ahead and use the global transfer network here. We look for a striker, basically. I mean, I'm not really that interested in the global transfer network. I've got my own targets this year. I've got my own players I've got my eyes on for the striker position and every position, really. But I thought if I didn't do this, then people would be like, oh, use the global transfer network, it's a new feature. So I thought, okay, I'll do it. But I don't think I'm going to be picking up any players from it. The scouts always seem to find players which I'm not really that interested in. They only ever return like 1 or 2, which I think, oh, they could be good. The rest I just just think, discard, not interested. So, yeah, I mean, we sent one out to England and one out to France, but to be honest, again, I don't think we're going to even be bothering, looking at the reports in depth, to be honest. So, there you go. But Andy, once again, said the bid for Traore was not enough, so I said, screw it, we're not going to get him. It was a dream. It was always a dream, just in case for some reason Andy would offer a really low counter offer for us, but sadly we can't afford the 24 million, so that dream is dead. And we also go ahead and negotiate with Steven Corker. Of course, we stalled it at first because we just got Kuric in, but then I thought, to be honest, we've only got Smalling, Kuric and Sean Morrison. We may as well get a fourth choice centre half, because otherwise if we get an injury crisis we're going to be screwed. You can't really say fairer than that for Steven Corker. £7.5 million plus Teti, a player we're not even going to be using. He's a good young centre half, only 23 years old I think, or something like that. And yeah, I mean, again, 78 rated. He'll be great as a backup centre half for the foreseeable future. If we ever get any problems with Kuric or Smalling, Corker's going to come in and he'll do the job brilliantly well. So I'm really pleased with that. I think that's going to be a great signing for us, and it may seem like a waste of money, it may seem like an overspend, but to me I think that's a good deal. I think that's a really good deal, just in case, because what I really don't want to happen is see Smalling and Kuric get injuries and then we're just left with Sean Morrison. That would be terrible. So there you go, Corker comes in, Teti leaves to Cardiff as part of the deal, and that's great. And we also go and ask the board for £5 million more, because they want us to reach the quarter-finals of the Champions League. Now we can't do that with a £20 million budget. They give us an extra £2 million, or around £2 million, for the request. We asked for 5, but we'll take 2. I mean, it's better than nothing, isn't it? And Traore, as you saw just a minute ago in an email, Chelsea put in a bid for Traore. That's kind of cool how they let us know that a bid's coming for him. Was that in last year's FIFA? I think it might have been. But anyway, if it wasn't, then it's a cool new feature. If it was, then fair enough. But we offer all we've got for Traore. We literally just say to Andy, please, what else have I got to do? Don't make me get on my knees and beg. But we offer 14 million plus one of our youth players, Jake Foderingham, like for like swap possibly. But Andy just said no, and the dream has basically gone now. We can't afford him, and a Chelsea offer of 17.5 gets accepted. Sadly, we're not going to be able to afford Traore. That's the end of that dream. But I looked at Chelsea strikers. They're trying to bring in Traore. Look at this. They've got Benteke, they've got Jackson Martinez, Jordan Slew, Lucina Traore just came in, Lukaku, Eto'o. I was like, you don't need all these strikers. You've got so many incredible strikers. So I thought, do you know what? I'm going to try and poach one of yours. If you poach one of my targets in Traore, I'm going to poach one of your strikers. So we go in for Romelu Lukaku. Now, he does look quite an expensive player. He's 6.5 million on the value, but as he's got several years on his contract, 4 years left, and he's on 70 grand a week, he does look like he could go for double, possibly triple that. But he's 22 years old, he's Belgian, so we know all about him, managing Belgium, and he looks very good. And Benteke looks way out of our price range at £18.5 million, sadly. But Martinez, Martinez looks quite good. He's only he's 28 years old, and he looks like he could be a good striker. So I think we asked a scout to check him out, and I was thinking about Samuel Eto'o, but then I thought, he's 34 years old. Do I really want a player, eating up our wage budget in the last couple of years of his contract? But Chelsea did come back to us and say, we want every single striker under the sun, so we're not going to let go of Lukaku. They asked for £15 million, I think it was, and I was like, mate, I cannot afford that, but I'll inquire at 10 million. I think 10 million's a fair deal. That's, it's basically in the middle of 6 and 15. So I'll inquire at £10 million, see what they say, and hopefully they'll say it's perfectly fine. But yeah, I mean, I don't, we need a better striker. And Anthony's good. He's inconsistent. He's young, but he's a bit inconsistent, and he's got room to develop. Odalusi was okay in his debut season, and then we've got who's our other striker? Yeah, Billy Sharp, who isn't really Champions League quality. We need a better striker. Hooper's gone. He was always going to go. We need a better striker, and I think Lukaku for 10 million could be a great deal. But the first preseason friendly was against Getafe. It was the most boring FIFA game of all time. It finished 0-0. There was about 2 shots in the entire game, and none of them were on target. So that was pointless even showing you any highlights because there were none. And that finished 0-0. But Luke Shaw gets a training injury in pre-season. He's out for 6 weeks. That sucks so much. But oh well, he can't really work around that. He's injured for 6 weeks, and the board want us to qualify for the Champions League come the end of the season in the league, and I think that's doable because we've already done it. And yeah, Chelsea go ahead and accept the £10 million for Lukaku. So Good. I mean, that's really pleasing because we missed out on Traore, which would have been a dream, but we can still sign a tall, powerful striker in Romelu Lukaku. He's 6'3", he's unbelievably strong, and yeah, I mean, he should be a bit of a deadly striker for us, and I'd hope so. You know, I hope he could be a 15 goal a season striker. You know, touch wood, he will be. You know, because the strikers we've had so far haven't really cut the mustard. You know, Elmander on loan was okay, Van Volswinkel was okay, you know, Hooper's been okay, Anthony's been okay, Sharp, Sanogo, or Lucy, they've all been okay, but you know, none of them are really going to be incredible strikers, and hopefully Lukaku will be that fantastic striker we need that's going to establish us as a Champions League club for the foreseeable future. But we take on Stade Brest for the second and final pre-season friendly game. Only 2 pre-season friendlies in this season, and yeah, we rotate the side around a lot. We're just putting players in the shop window, just saying if you'd like to buy them, then fine. That's why we're using players such as Denunzio on the bench and Murphy, but we did take on Stade Brest for the second and final pre-season friendly game, and I was just rotating the squad around just to get a feel for the players, you know, new players such as McCarthy and Perotti and Ikrem, just to check out how good they are, see if they can establish themselves as first choice players for the future and for this season in particular. But there was only really one chance in the game. It came in the 56th minute. Olsen's cross was headed in by Lucy, so competition for Lukaku possibly, but we did win by 1-0. And as always, guys, big thank you for watching today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you have, please leave a like, and I'll see you for the next episode of Career Mode very soon.